Now we're going to talk about compasses and other navigational devices. Just kidding. We're not using this anymore. So now we're just going to talk about compasses. Let's walk through a few of them. I just picked up this little ditty at my local retail store. It's better than nothing, but it's about as close to nothing as you can get as a compass. It does tell direction in a very general sense, has a thermometer on back, and has a nice little magnifying device. Now normally when you see a magnifying device built into some type of compass, it's to read a map or be able to read something on a map to find better direction. In this case, I like it for that, but I also like it for the fact that you could start a fire in a survival situation if you had to with this magnification device. So buy one, stick it in your glove box, $5 your local retail market, you got something to work with. Now this little ditty, I also picked up at my local retail market. It was only about $5. It does have some features I like, but there's one thing that really bugged me. While I was out messing around with it, I found the needle sticking a lot, unreliable, and when you're navigating, you can't risk unreliability. You get what you pay for. And since I don't want this falling into anyone's hands and ending up navigating somewhere they don't want to go, we're going to eliminate the problem. No more bad navigation from the cheap $5 compass. Another compass here made by Santu. They're a manufacturer out of Finland. This is a quality scout type compass. In this particular sportsman's compass, pretty good compass all in all. Nice sturdy base plate. It also has a very nice, easy to turn bevel with 360 degrees, as you might see here, to set for your direction of travel. Also has an indexing line below this clear bevel so that you can always index properly to the while spinning the ring. Of course, you got the magnetic red-tipped north-seeking arrow. This always needs to be working properly in order for you to navigate properly. Further inside the ring, you will see some lines that help you associate the grid lines on a map to the grid lines on your compass when you're lining your compass up on the map. As you can see inside the capsule, it's clear. Within the bottom of the capsule, there are some red numbers. That's to adjust the magnetic declination as it relates to the ground of your compass. And the nice part about it is you can actually see through that all the way through. Those lines inside the capsule as well are there so that you can line those up properly on your map. If we were to pick a heading and we wanted to go east, the north-seeking arrow has an alignment register that's also clear through the compass that assists you when you're traveling in the actual direction of travel. All in all, nice features, very easy to use sport compass. So you can buy this little ditty from a lot of online retailers. You can buy it from the Santu website, you can buy it from Amazon. Look it up. They have a large variety of more expensive compasses and some that might even be a little less expensive, but this is a good, moderately priced compass. This is the one we're going to talk about today and drill down into the features of it. It's the old lensatic compass. It's the one I actually used during my military career. Very popular in the military. You'll see it a lot, and there's a good reason for that. It has a lot of things that are very useful because it's a very durable compass and has a lot of the features that you'll need for land navigation. Thumb ring. We'll show you how to use that later. You'll see this nice strong lanyard here to secure it to your own body. It has a folding lid, very protective lid, hard aluminum case. Rear sight. This rear sight works in conjunction with the front lid, kind of like pistol sights when you're sighting through the indexing wire on the front. Also contains a number of luminous dots for night navigation on the dial. You might be able to see that this actual dial has a black set of numbers and a red set of numbers. We're going to be working with the red set of numbers because that is working with degrees. The outside set of numbers is what's known as mils. We won't be working with mils during this training. Also has a rotating bezel. This rotating bezel is used to help you preset an azimuth in your travels. You'll also notice on the side of the compass, it is broken down with a measuring device, which we're going to be operating on the UTM map. An important feature of this compass is the relationship of the locking dial to the rear sight. It also can get you in trouble if you're not careful. If you'll notice, the dial is free floating. However, the rear sight does provide a function where if you push it down far enough, it locks the dial in place. What you have to be careful of is when you're navigating and you want the dial free floating, you do not push the rear sight down far enough to cause the locking function. There are two preferred holding methods for this particular compass. One is the compass to cheek. The other is the center hold method. The compass to cheek method gives you greater accuracy in shooting an azimuth at a longer distance. The center hold method is normally used for a little bit shorter distance, selecting an azimuth or an object a little closer to you. I'm going to demonstrate the thumb to cheek method now. Fold the front cover to 90 degrees. Make sure the rear sight is about a 45-degree angle. Put your thumb in the thumb ring. Position it so in your hands. Bring it up to your cheek, and you're going to use the rear sight with the magnifying glass, just like a set of gun sights through the sighting wire, which is in the top cover. The magnifying glass in the rear sight is going to allow you to look down at the floating dial and provide you the azimuth that you've selected in degrees. The center hold method, open the lid all the way, take the back sight backwards out of your way, bring it down to waistline level, again, making sure any metal objects on your body do not impede the magnetism of the floating dial. Lock your arms to your body in the center. Look down on top of the floating dial through the indexing line and select your azimuth. So that was a demonstration of both the center hold and the thumb to cheek method of the lensetic compass. You're not always going to have a compass. There are ways to find general direction, north, south, east, and west. This is one such method. Basically, it's kind of like a sundial. We're going to put a long stick of any type. Nothing special about this. No type of special equipment needed. Grab a stick, stick it in the ground. Wherever it makes a shadow, put your first stick at the tip of that shadow. Then we'll come back later over time to place the second stick. All right, we've let the stick and shadow method from our original stake. You'll see the shadow has moved over about a 30-minute period of time. I'm going to mark the tip of that second shadow where it ends. Make sure you put your left foot on that stake, your right foot on this stake, and if you do that, you're then facing directly north. This method works both in the southern and northern hemisphere. It is easy to accomplish in a field environment because really all you need is a couple of sticks. So as we continue to show you different methods of how to navigate without a compass, we're going to show you one more method that's pretty common on how to determine where north is. This is known as the watch method. Basically what you do is you're going to set your watch on the ground, put a small stick in the ground, put noon with a shadow of the stick over the noon of your watch, the high noon. You're going to take your hour hand and split the difference. You'll notice this says 3:30. So the difference in time between noon and 3:30 is approximately 2 o'clock. Lay some type of straight object across and split the watch, and that object will be pointing in a northerly direction. So there you go. North, east, west, south. This is only good in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it's going to work a little different. So once again, you never know when you're going to find yourself in a situation where you may not have a compass, but you need to know some general directions. I'm going to show you how to use this rusty old sewing needle, a simple leaf, and a small body of water to help you out with that. Taking the small end of the needle, putting it on this leaf. I'm going to drop it in this cup of water here. The needle is going to track and find magnetic north. In some cases it would seem that the needle would need to be rubbed against a magnet first to magnetize it, but we tried this without magnetizing the needle and it seems to still be working perfectly. Maybe you think, Sure, it's floating around in that cup right there, but how do we know it's pointing north? Well, just in case you're wondering, there's your reference. Watch this. It slowly but surely will find its way back to north. The reason it's able to do that is because the configuration of the water and the leaf creates very, very, very little drag on anything, and it allows the needle to drive the leaf in the water. You'll notice even after it overcorrects, it will come back and get back to north.